Chapter 1. Female health is different, and it wasn't studied properly. It is not a secret that there's still gender disparity all over the world between men and women. But did you know that these issues pertain to the health and wellness sector as well? Historically, medicine was male-dominated, which led to it being focused on treating not any person, but a man specifically. According to earlier scientists, the only difference a woman had from a man was her reproductive organs. However, this is a wild misconception that later resulted in a blatant inability of modern medicine to treat women accurately and meet all their needs. For example, what we perceive as typical heart attack symptoms, like crushing pain in the chest and left arm, mainly pertain to men. But women tend to display contrasting reactions to this condition, such as sweating, nausea, and difficulty breathing. Let's look at Alzheimer's disease in particular. At the scale that Alzheimer's is progressing, the number of people affected today will triple by 2050, around 15 million people in America alone. And 2/3 of all people suffering from the disease are women. If that's not enough, taking care of the loved ones with the disease also falls predominantly on women. Yet the illness is still not recognized as a women's health issue. Keep in mind, there are 2 times more women diagnosed with depression and anxiety than men. The author provides strategies for women to start being proactive with their health. The steps presented in this book are also generally useful for any gender and will help you improve your mood and sleep, reduce stress, boost your energy, and strengthen your brain power. And if you're a man finding this book in your hands, rest assured that it will be useful for you. Whether you're interested in women's physiology or healthcare in general, or perhaps have a female relative with Alzheimer's or another cognitive disease, you will find scientifically based facts and insights that will broaden your perspective and maybe even crush a few of your stereotypes regarding women. After all, the point is not to pit women against men, but to understand the differences and embrace them. Chapter 2. Biological differences in male and female brains. It is known that male DNA has XY chromosomes, while female DNA has XX chromosomes, hence the book's title. What is not so widely popular is that X chromosomes are generally larger than Y chromosomes and carry many more genes. Since genes are critical to hormonal production, the female brain is much more affected by hormones than the male brain is. Knowing how hormones operate will allow women to make smarter health-related decisions and prevent cognitive disorders. Despite the hard work of modern scientists, current medicine still struggles to address female health distinctions since most medical research and tests involve male participants and with only male physiology in mind. Over time, it's become clear that male and female hormonal reactions to drugs during their testing are different, and as a result, the drug's efficacy differs depending on the gender. Remember, hormones are major contributors to most processes in our brains and body, like metabolism, injury recovery, and tissue growth. However, these differences do not influence the behavior that much, and they in no way justify the gender disparity, which is something to do with social constructs and not biology. Some scientists have tried to prove that male brains are somewhat superior to female ones over the years, but the fact that the neurological processes differ a bit does not make one brain better than the other. Despite being an enormous threat to female health, Alzheimer's is barely discussed, and women themselves are not aware of the issue. It is common in healthcare that female concerns are dismissed due to gender bias or ageism. Even the disease itself is considered a non-avoidable consequence of bad genes and old age. However, this is incorrect. Even though we do have genes that predetermine the potential risk of developing Alzheimer's, it is our environment, lifestyle choices, stress, and sleep control that influence whether we avoid the disease or get it. Even though women have unlocked some of the options that were only accessible to males, such as various jobs historically unavailable to women, they did not exchange their roles with men. They simply got twice more responsibilities. This leads to women juggling careers and homework and worsens their health, shortening the longevity of their lives. So the myth of women living longer than men is losing any basis. The difference between the average ages is from 5 years to close to nothing. Chapter 3. Risks to Alzheimer's and how to determine them. Some medical conditions can increase the risk or worsen the symptoms of Alzheimer's, like diabetes, heart disease, obesity, and depression. The following hormonal risks are also possible: thyroid disease, pregnancy, and menopause. It is crucial to monitor and regulate your medical state constantly. One of the things you can do right now is determine your risks for obesity and cardiovascular disease. Measure your BMI, or body mass index, waist to height ratio, and blood pressure. Having found out the results, you will be able to set corresponding goals, like losing weight or lowering high blood pressure, which will significantly improve your health. The following are the tests you should take to measure the risk of getting diseases that impact your cognitive ability. First, check your thyroid, glucose, insulin, and fat or cholesterol levels in your blood, homocysteine, and vitamins, especially omega-3s and B vitamins. Next, take cognitive tests designed to measure your ability to remember, think, and solve problems. While self-tests are available on the internet, they are not ideal for actual medical diagnosing. Instead, turn to a neuropsychologist for an evaluation. If you currently don't have the ability or desire to contact your physician and go through various health examinations, you can start small by answering questionnaires on governmental websites regarding your risks of developing the disease. Those are questions about your way of living, age, gender, genetics, predispositions, and your family's medical history. Next are the risks of your lifestyle and environment, toxins you are exposed to, smoking, an unhealthy diet, and a sedentary lifestyle. It is important to remember that no matter what your DNA tells you, you can avert many diseases by taking proper care of your body and brain and making healthy lifestyle choices. The key is prevention and precision medicine, an approach that considers all lifestyle factors, including genetics, environment, etc., not only genetic predispositions. Female and male brains differ, thus they have different needs and symptoms, and we need female-specific methods to prevent the disease. Precision medicine can create a personalized plan to help with that. Keep in mind, each woman is unique and has individual risks and needs that should be determined to adjust her action plan. Sometimes what works for your female friend or relative may not work for you. Chapter 4. Effects of menopause and pregnancy on women. According to various studies, menopause affects not only women's fertility but also their brains. It causes brain fogs and memory lapses that introduce forgetfulness and difficulty concentrating, hot flashes, and night sweats, indicators that brains fail to regulate the body temperature, insomnia, hormonal depression, stress, and decreased sex drive. Menopause works like a trigger that makes female brains weaker in fighting against Alzheimer's and dementia, and that's when the diseases take charge. Since men don't have menopause, their brains are better equipped to fight such diseases in old age. During menopause, the neuroendocrine system shifts, affecting both the brain and body. But the issue is that women are stigmatized for any emotional and neurological symptoms they might experience due to the bias of women being crazy and over-emotional, which leads to women staying silent about their condition due to the fear of being dismissed and laughed at. So, they restrict themselves from understanding and confronting the issue and getting much-needed support. Remember, menopause is a final menstrual period and can be determined after 12 consecutive months of not having periods. Since menopause, with all its hormonal shifts and symptoms, limits the quality of women's lives for decades, and the fact that it alone increases women's chances of getting Alzheimer's, we need to research menopause immediately and find better solutions to dealing with it. As to pregnancy, another significant hormonal shift, it is common for new moms to experience momnesia, a phenomenon that denotes forgetfulness after giving birth. As a result, female memory is influenced by shifts in brain processes and the overload in day-to-day responsibilities from taking care of a newborn child. 1 in 10 women would develop postpartum depression or PPD after the baby's birth. This condition is accompanied by anxiety, deep sadness, and loss of feeling self-worth. PPD was historically stigmatized and overlooked, but thankfully now it is considered an actual disease and is treatable. The key is to consult your doctor and start treatment as soon as these symptoms arise. That way, the treatment is more efficient. Did you know? Mothers of newborn babies tend to acquire 700 hours of sleep debt during the first year of parenting. Chapter 5. A healthy diet means a healthy brain. Unfortunately, nutrition still does not get the attention it is entitled to have. After all, food is vital to our survival as it feeds us and becomes a part of us once it's broken down into components and absorbed. So, food matters to our cognitive abilities, as there is a clear link between the quality of food to the longevity and strength of the brain, not to mention the body. What is also fascinating and not widely known is that female and male metabolic systems differ in their needs and responses to food. And since there was little to no research on females' reaction to specific diets, which diet is the best is still a big gray area. However, diets that deny some nutrients entirely in favor of others, like no-fat or no-carb diets, are harmful to our bodies that require all nutrients to some extent. Men may be from Mars and women from Venus, but here on Earth, both still benefit from eating right. Lisa Mosconi. The Mediterranean diet is the only scientifically proven diet suitable for women. It nourishes our bodies and brains, reduces the risk of dementia, strokes, and breast cancer, and keeps our brains younger for a longer time compared to the Western diet. The Mediterranean diet includes more fiber and is moderate with fats, most of which are of vegetable origin. In contrast, the Western diet includes more saturated fats, mainly of animal origin. For example, Mediterranean is a meal of seafood and artichokes drizzled with extra virgin olive oil, while Western is fried poultry with French fries. Keep in mind, strive to eat the rainbow, all the fruits and vegetables of different colors. The foods that should be a part of your daily ration are vegetables and fruits, whole grain foods, fish, full-fat organic yogurt, kefir, nuts, and berries. Watch what you drink and in what quantities too. Overconsumption of alcohol and coffee can be very harmful to your brain health. 1 glass of red wine is permissible once in a while, so are 2 small cups of coffee per day or 1 espresso instead. Green tea can be a healthy alternative to coffee. And drink a lot of water. It is the healthiest and the most important drink for any person's health. Chapter 6. Let's get physical. Exercise is vital to our health and longevity of life. Multiple studies have proven that regular exercise keeps our brains young, improving the work of memory and slowing the Alzheimer's plaque buildup and brain shrinkage, not to mention the lighten mood, lower stress, and healthy weight. It is also known that regular physical activity reduces the risk for heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. So many advantages, right? Current research shows that about 60% of modern adults engage in less than 2.5 hours of physical activity per week. And when we look at gender distinction, women exercise less than men. The reason lies in historically established disparities, like not allowing women to have physical exercise in school until 1823, and less time and energy to be physically active due to childcare falling primarily on women. We have already established that male and female organisms differ in their needs and reactions. There are the same dynamics regarding specific exercises. Men seem to react better to intense and short training, like jumping rope fast, while for women, slower, low to moderate intensity training is more convenient, like aerobics. Women need to push themselves during exercise to speed up their heart rate and keep the activity regular to get the much anticipated results. Try 20 minutes of brisk walking per day. It'll be very beneficial to your health. Make sure to keep it regular, otherwise the effect will not be visible. While our bodies need frequent movement, they also need to relax, like our brains. It is scientifically proven that nature restores our energy, so try going out in nature more often. You can try meditation, acupuncture, yoga, and other relaxation techniques, which are great ways to reduce anxiety. And just by switching the airplane mode on your phone, you will almost always feel more relaxed. The same goes for getting more plants for your home or office, making them more peaceful places to live and work. Pro tip: if you have a child, incorporate breathing routines from a young age to show how to cope with stress or anger tantrums. Just 3 deep breaths, and the child will be calmer and more relaxed than a few minutes before. We may not have much control over many of the sources of stress in our lives, but we do control how we respond to stress. Lisa Mosconi. Conclusion: even though modern medicine is still determining women's needs, it is still possible for a woman to maintain a healthy body and brain. We just have to reprioritize. What matters first and foremost is our well-being, not outer beauty. Women should care for their hormones since they have to deal with so many hormonal shifts throughout their lifetime, during the beginning of menstruation, pregnancy, and menopause. It's important to remember that experiencing all these shifts, having severe mood swings, weight gains, or feelings of sadness is completely normal and is not shameful. Women have more than a full right to have access to proper medical help to deal with these symptoms. And having read in detail about how women's bodies and brains work, it is much easier to address any issue that might arise properly. It is crucial to monitor our health constantly and take necessary precautions, like determining risks for various diseases, consulting physicians, doing annual checkups at all the doctors, and encouraging our loved ones to do the same. A healthy family is a happy family. By exercising regularly and following a nutritious and balanced diet, we can strengthen our muscles and cognitive abilities, reduce the risk of getting Alzheimer's, heart attack, stroke, and obesity, and even extend our lives. By taking such determined care of ourselves, we contribute to our overall quality of life and reap benefits for the years to come. Try this. Write out the most appropriate routine for you that includes your waking and sleeping hours, daily menu, exercise, and social activities. Having everything written down will make it much easier to keep all these vital parts of your life intact. If you have trouble following a healthy diet, encourage those living with you to do the same. If you don't have junk food in your fridge, you won't be tempted to eat it.